Welcome to my class. In the types of network, in this particular lecture, we are going to talk about those networks which are based on services rendered. We have two types of network, server-based networks and peer-to-peer networks. On the basis of services rendered, server-based networks, communication servers, mail servers, application servers, that is client-server network, file and print servers. On the basis of peer-to-peer network, we have peer-to-peer computers. So basically in this particular lecture, we are going to talk about server-based networks and peer-to-peer networks. On the basis of services rendered, we have following types of network: server-based networks, peer-to-peer networks. Mail servers, file and print servers, communication servers, and application server, which is client server network. All these are part of server-based networks. Servers perform a wide variety of functions. Therefore, the big organizations having large networks may have specialized servers for different functions. Such specialized server may be of following types: mail servers. Mail servers are used to manage the flow of electronic messaging among network users. File and print servers. File and print servers manage user access to different computer files and printer resources. Communication servers. Communication server assist in handling data flow of authorized users. And the last one is application server. Our focus will be on application servers. Application servers make data available on the server to the client computer. This results into client-server network, which is defined as: client-server network consists of two types of computers: client computers and server computers. Client-server network, as we said that we have two types of computer. So here server is connected to number of client computers. The client computers can make a request to server computer to provide some data or information. In that case, the server processes the request of the client computer and starts giving them the data or information required by different clients. Here the meaning of client is: a client is a computer connected to a LAN, WAN, which may require the resources provided by the server. In simple terms, client is a computer which is connected to a network and which makes a request to the server to provide some information or data. So client computer makes a request to server computer. Normally it is a smaller computer such as a low-end PC which has low power CPU. Server. A server is a computer connected to a LAN which is capable of providing some special services to client computers. We said that client makes a request and the server fulfills that request. So the computer which fulfills the request of client computer is termed as server computer. The special services may be in the form of providing access to high-cost peripherals such as laser printer or scanner, a very powerful CPU with good number crunching capability, etc. It means if the client computer gives some particular work which is a complex one, then the CPU of server is capable of handling that task. Now, what are the advantages of client-server network? The first one, scalability. Second, centralized control. Third, integrated. And the fourth one is accessibility. Let us talk about these 4 points in detail. The first advantage is centralized control. The security regarding all available information is controlled through the server. Second, scalability. The number of client computers may be enhanced as and when the need arises. Integrated. All components, whether it is client or server or network program, they work together. Accessibility. The server can be accessed even from remote location by client computers. Now, what are the disadvantages of client-server network? First, quite expensive. This type of network requires initial investment in the form of high-end dedicated server. Maintenance staff. The big organization having large networks will require network maintenance staff to ensure efficient operations in the organization. Dependence. With the breakdown of server, all network operations will cease to operate. These are some of the disadvantages of client-server network. Now the second one is peer-to-peer network. We call it work groups. Meaning, in peer-to-peer network, there is no distinction between computers connected to a LAN as a server computer or as a client computer. So in a particular network where we do not make any distinction between whether this computer is a server computer or client computer, then that network is termed as peer-to-peer network. Normally each computer functions as both a client and as a server. Thus, where all computers in a LAN have an equal status, such a network is called a peer-to-peer network. Since all computers are equal in terms of capabilities, they are termed as peers. Peer-to-peer network. In this case, we find that there are 4 users who are connected to this network and their computers are client as well as server. In peer-to-peer network, all computers have equal status. All are client, all are server. So they can give information and they can seek information from each other. Then this type of network is termed as peer-to-peer network. They can receive information and they can give information to each other, referred to as work groups. Peer-to-peer networks are also called as work groups. The term work group refers to a small group of users in a network. Stability. Peer-to-peer networks are suitable for the organization where the number of users is limited. Generally, it is up to 10 or less. The users are located in the same area. The data security is not important thing. The users need to have free and frequent access to data and program that reside on other computers across the network. It means any user can have access to data or programs on the other computers. Now the advantages of peer-to-peer network. Expenses. Less initial expense as there is no need for a high-end dedicated server. Setup efforts. Less setup efforts as an operating system such as Windows already in place may only need to be reconfigured for peer-to-peer operations. If you are having Windows operating system, then it will be reconfigured so as to include peer-to-peer operations. Disadvantages of peer-to-peer network. No central control. Total decentralized functioning as there is no central repository for files and applications. Security level. It does not provide that security level which is available on client-server network. Please note that a distinction can be made between server-based networks and peer-to-peer networks. Second, client-server network and peer-to-peer network. There should not be any confusion between these two things. I have explained these two things with the help of two different diagrams. So first of all, we will see server-based networks and peer-to-peer networks. Remember that client-server networks are application servers, which is a part of server-based networks. Now the server-based networks versus peer-to-peer networks. Here we are going to make a distinction of server-based networks against peer-to-peer computers. It means in the server-based networks, we will cover all these types of servers. So let's talk about the difference between server-based networks and peer-to-peer network. First, size of network. The size of the network is restricted by the power of server and other network hardware. In case of peer-to-peer network, the size of the network is desirable for a group up to 10 users. Second, security of network. This network offers extensive security feature to its users. Whereas in the case of peer-to-peer network, in this network, all users administer their own computers. That is, the users are responsible for the security of their computers. Administration. There is an administrator responsible for the entire network in case of server-based networks. No one is assigned to be an administrator responsible for the entire network in case of peer-to-peer networks. Design and maintenance. Server-based networks are more expensive and complex in design and maintenance in comparison to peer-to-peer networks. Peer-to-peer networks are less expensive and simple in design and maintenance in comparison to server-based networks. Now let us move on to the second point, client-server networks and peer-to-peer networks. Here we are going to make a comparison of application server, that is client-server network, with the peer-to-peer computers. So on the one hand, we have a client-server network. On the other hand, we have a peer-to-peer network. Here we are going to talk about a part of the server-based network versus full peer-to-peer network. First, nature. In client-server network, a number of computers, generally PCs referred as clients, are connected to a single high-end computer referred as server. So we have two types of computer. One is client type of computer and the other is server. Clients are simple PCs, whereas a server is a high-end computer. In peer-to-peer network, all computers are connected to each other. There is no distinction between client or server computer. Thus, all computers are clients as well as servers. Data transfer speed. In client-server network, the data transfer speed is more, whereas in peer-to-peer network, the data transfer speed is less. Dumb/intelligent terminals. Terminal means computers. In the case of client-server network, client computers may be dumb or they may be intelligent one. Dumb means they do not have any processor. Intelligent means they have processor. In the case of peer-to-peer network, all computers have to be intelligent. It means all computers must have their own CPU. The fourth point is failure. In case of client-server network, the failure of server shall result in the breakdown of entire network. But in case of peer-to-peer network, if any computer fails to work, it shall not affect the functioning of others. Only the data stored on the faulty computer shall not be accessible by other computers. Client-server networks are suitable for big organizations having large number of computers. Whereas peer-to-peer networks in general, they are suitable for small organizations having less number of computers. Example: Microsoft Windows NT Server and Microsoft Windows NT Workstation are examples of programs that can function as client-server operating systems. Apple Share and Windows for Workgroups are examples of programs that can function as peer-to-peer network operating systems. Thank you very much.